Hello gamers, Pet here. Welcome to the last part of this really long tutorial where we kind of created a small Plants vs. Zombie clone. I mean, it's not really a complete game or anything, but I just wanted to play with Bolt, learn how it works, and this was kind of like a pretty good example to see how to do it. So far I've been enjoying making this a lot. So hopefully this whole series was useful for you. I do plan to make a couple of smaller tutorials for really beginners, and then I do plan to actually make a more complete kind of really small game. But anyway, you should never actually tell your goals, because then you are not going to do them, because your brain already got the pleasure of you saying that you have accomplished. So it takes away from the actual accomplishment. So anyway, in this video I'm going to talk about the zombie, the health system, the deal damage system, which is actually not really a system, it's just a flow, the UI gain and lose animation, the bullet, some bug problems if I don't forget them, the fact that I've unparented the bullets and the suns, the way when I was instantiating the bullets or the suns, I decided to parent them to the firing plants or the sunflower, and I was like, hey, there shouldn't be any problem, but there is, because when my plant gets destroyed being killed by a zombie, since they were the bullets or the sun were a child of the plant, the bullets or the suns were getting destroyed. So it's a small example on how you can miss some stuff, like you think on doing something and you think that it's not going to be a problem, and later you think like, okay, that is an actual problem. And I will talk a little bit about the zombie spawner. Now, see, this is everything written on paper. I will start briefly talking about the Money UI text animation, because I made it I was awake for something like 14-16 hours. I was like kind of in the mood to actually do some stuff in Unity. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. It shouldn't be really that complicated. I get to work with this whole tutorial was mostly about Bolt and not really working with the Unity stuff per se. And I was like, yeah, I get to work with Unity again and stuff like that. So it didn't really work out how it was, and I was like, okay, I'm scrapping that, screw that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, because there are some lessons to be drawn from that whole thingy. So one thing that I did, I moved the plants buttons from the canvas of the game to the actual HUD, because I was like, why do I have them on that scene and not on the HUD scene? And then I just drag and drop and move them. And then I also I'm not really sure why I'm showing you this, because they are not there. I created those two prefabs, which are actually rect transforms, because my idea was that I was going to instantiate them into the canvas, because the first time when I thought about this, I was like, hey, I just have a reference, only one text, and then I just update that. But then I was like, no, because you can gain much more money and you can spend much more money while the animation is fading away, so I will need multiple instances of the same thing. So the whole idea was that I will instantiate this and it will save the position, and since I'm using the anchor for the rect transform, it will automatically appear on top, and I made it so it's exactly over there. So if I put it as a child of the canvas, it kind of got shifted, and then it was a little bit of a problem with the aspect ratios, but then it worked with the aspect ratio, and I don't know, if I unload this and I save it and I play, you see, that was kind of like the animation, how it went top, because the idea was for it to go on in your money, and when you spend it goes away. And let me actually show you what I've did so far with with the game, the complete game. So I can build the plant that the zombie is hitting it, the plant disappeared. It's kind of like a lag spike, but it's I made the build and it's working fine. And of course the sunflower is starting to hit the firing plant, and after 5 shots the zombie gets destroyed. And now if I okay, I think I forgot to put something on the zombie, or on the, yeah, on the zombie. Yeah, okay, I get it. I think I forgot to do that. Anyway, I will talk about this problem later, because I spent at least 1 hour dealing with some stuff, and then I actually found a bug in one of the units, the weight units that I'm using, and then it actually got fixed today. So that's great. So the plant actually got some damage. So if I go to the grass, and then there's the fifth column, and if I select it, the health of the plant is 34. Nice. If I unpause, poof, 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 it's getting some damage, it's getting hit, it's still alive. And of course, it was a fun experience. So anyway, let's go back on talking about the gain and the lose, because I placed an animation there. There was no point for an animator, and I just wanted to access the animation, and you will see that a little bit later. And the way it went like this. I had to go to manage money, and as you can see, I have this whole thing over here that I took out from this part, because if you were gaining money, if you're losing money, you're supposed to go here, and then if you're gaining money, you're supposed to go here. So subtract and add, and I'm also using the enum. So this money text UA animation, it's basically, I will show you, but basically this whole thing, the animation happens whenever I'm managing money. It's simple as that. And I was going to this money text UI anime, which actually got like into a super huge thing. At one point, since I was a little bit tired, I didn't care that much. I was like, I'm just going to do it. Of course, that you can optimize it, and then I was like, okay, screw it. So depending on the switch enum, if it's add or you subtract, the reason why it's like going on 2 spots is because I get the float value, which is the money that you add, you gain or you lose, but then I want to concat a plus or a minus string in front of the number. That's one thing. And I also am using various colors, but though the colors themselves have been set up over here in the text mesh pro. This is just okay. So that was the thing. I'm setting it a parent of the canvas. You see, I'm also getting a rect, because then I'm hard coding the position, because it wasn't really saving the position that's on the prefab, because when it was getting instantiated, it was instantiating at 000. So I was doing something like getting, you see, I'm finding the canvas, I'm getting the transform, I'm getting the rect transform, and then I'm getting that and I'm adding 80, so it would be like something from over here. But then at one point when I was losing money, it was spawning from here, and that was like, okay, enough. Enough. And the thing was that I kind of overcomplicated stuff, and there is a lesson to be learned there. Don't overcomplicate stuff. Don't make stuff proper way just because you have to make them proper way, especially in a case like this where I will only have 2 freaking animation. I could have just, check this out. So I'm putting the text in, right? This is the text. But then I also need to get the component of the animation, because I instantiate the text that's animating, but then I want to destroy it later, which of course is not ideal. You're supposed to use some object pooling, stuff like that. But then I need to take the length of the animation clip. So in a way, it kind of worked like this. And think about it, it was like too many small things that got combined, and even that it kind of worked, I decided to scrap it and focus on the other things. So this kind of works. But I got to read about the animation and the animation clip, and then about the state machine, and that was kind of like a cool thing. So I don't regret of doing this at all, actually, even that it was like 1 hour of trying some stuff. So now let's move forward to the stuff that actually remained into the game. Let's talk a little bit about the zombie. So the zombie, like the others, he has the prefabs of health, damage, the attack speed, and the walk speed, which again, the walk speed is like really, really low because of the whole transform thing, and I don't know. So the zombie has a state machine of the zombie himself, and he is also using a health system. So he's using two state machines, and guess what? The sunflower is also using a health system, and the firing plant is also using a health system. And the moment I created the health system, everything like it tied up together, and it worked like without doing any special things. So the zombie is in two states. He's in the walking state, where he's just, you know, updating his translate transform. And by the way, what I'm telling you right now, you can actually watch the live stream of the whole 4-hour live cast that I've done with the whole experience and the whole thing, and it was kind of like a really fun experience. If you go to twitch.tv/gamerpet, you will find the live stream there, and maybe I think I will link it in the description if I don't forget. So yeah, it's a transform, it's a walk speed, and we multiplied by -1, so he multiplies that way to walk from right to left, and then we are making a new vector tree, and then we are only feeding the x basically, because the y and the z will remain at 0. Then we have an on trigger enter 2D. When we enter a trigger, we do a check. We check for the tag, and if the tag equals plants, and you have guessed it, the plants right now have a tag here, plants. The same thing with the firing plant. When the zombie is hitting something, you see he's going to trigger two events, one for attacking and one for start attacking, where we are also feeding an argument of the game object that we just hit. So let me explain. As you can see, we have a custom event. That the custom event is triggering when we are getting this event called attacking, and as you remember, we just got it over here, right? But then why do we need this? Well, it's simple. This argument only triggers the state, and then we will be in this state. But then we kind of need to pass an argument of the object that we just hit. We need to know the plant that we are, you know, like hitting. So that's why we also have the other event. We are already into this event, and now we are also on this event. Unity is becoming an annoying problem, and I need to. I mean, it's not the Unity; it's the real-time protection of the freaking. Yes, of course, that was Windows 10 scanning. He doesn't like Unity for some reason, and I've put it into, you know, like the exceptions, and it's still sometimes scanning Unity, and it's clogging the CPU at something like 20%. And it's anyway. So back on this whole thing. This is also going. There are two things that happen here. I'm also running this constantly and doing like a null check. Right, and I'm kind of forgot like the order of the whole things, but basically I'm doing, and this is why the zombie it's giving that error. Let's custom event trigger, not trigger, was it? Let me actually check the sunflower, and I will tell you exactly. Yeah, I'll just copy this. And let me tell you exactly what was the problem. I will first paste it, but not doing anything. This is, so rather I'm talking about the bug that took us like 30-40 minutes to see the problem. The firing plant. So the firing plant right now is hitting the zombie, which will die. And when the zombie die, is giving out this error, which wasn't like a huge deal. I could have just ignored it and moved forward. Because this is not like a complete game. And the thing is that, as you can see, the object of type state machine has been destroyed, but you are still trying to access it. And you see the coroutine runner is giving this error. And the thing is that the wait thingies are happening on a separate layer. And the thing is that my wait is still happening even that my object is destroyed. The zombie doesn't exist anymore. So the wait, this is still happening. It was really, really annoying, and we thought of various reasons how to make it and how to not do it. In theory, it wasn't like a huge deal, but then thinking about it, it was a performance problem because the wait was still kind of running and it was clogging up resources. And once you play for like 20 minutes, you know, it's supposed to be a problem. And I was like, why this is so stupid? Why don't I do it like this? I have a break event, and then I just feed it like this, and then in my health system, whenever something is dying, I'm also triggering this break event before I destroy the actual object. And I was like, hey, this actually works. But then I found a second bug, which actually got fixed today by Jason. And Jason is the guy that created those wait events that I'm using over here. And the problem was that I was hitting a break, but this break was sent to the whole objects, my whole plants, and the zombie was always killing the first plant, but then it was not DPSing the second plant at all. Like the second plant wasn't going to the state that it's getting hit. I was like, we were trying to debug the whole thing. I was like, okay, this is clearly a bug, and it was like a fun experience. You know, it's fun when you get to debug stuff and then you tell it to the guy and the guy fixed it. It was live on stream, and I had, you know, Reaper, which is a guy, on the stream, and we were chatting. It's fun when you get to debug stuff that are going to get fixed later, especially when you don't have a boss that doesn't understand the fact that sometimes things like this happen and they take time. And especially with the debugging and seeing exactly what's happening. And we got a couple of other problems with the zombie, for example. The zombie has health. Right now it has health 60. It was... but let's put it like that. His health was 60, but he was dying when he was still having like 20 hit points left. I was like, what the hell is the problem? And you will see it later if I don't forget. So anyway... this is the flow of the zombie. On enter state, we set him up to attacking, and in case you forgot about it, yes, the zombie himself also has a state machine that's looking like animator, walking, set up to walking, and then attacking, set up to attacking, and a ball, and we trigger this ball over here, and when this ball becomes true, we are triggering this transition, and we go and start attacking. Easy as that. On the exit state, we set it back to false, and the zombie resumes walking, right? So this is what happens. The delay is our attack speed. If we look at the zombie, he has an attack speed of 0.3, because I wanted him to be like super fast, like as you saw. But then that's the reason why we set his damage to 2. So in about 1 second, he deals 6 damage. It's a little bit more than 6 damage per second. That's kind of like his DPS, right? I want to just for the fun of it. And what he is doing, he's using this super unit called deal damage, and we input the value of damage, and the value of damage is actually he's getting the value of self, which is this one, which is an object variable, right, of type object. It's on the object, and he's getting that, and it's feeding it into the deal damage. And now let's see exactly what this deal damage super unit is doing. It's simple. It's this whole thing, and it's triggering the argument deal damage to the target, this target, right? And then it's triggering the state receive damage to this game object target with the float damage, and then we output. And now this is totally not making sense right now for you, probably, right? I mean, what's the target? Our target is the target that we receive, the target that we are colliding, right? And the bullet, let's look a little bit at the bullet so you can kind of get the whole idea. The bullet also has an on-trigger event with the tag where it's checking to see if it's colliding with a zombie. If it's colliding with the zombie, we deal damage to the zombie, and then we destroy itself. And also let's go a little bit deeper, because we did some changes to the firing plant. The zombie, the bullet has the value of 0. Now, I didn't want to hard code the value into the bullet because maybe you want to have bullets with different values and so on. So the way it goes, the firing plant right now is doing this. It's when it's instantiating the bullet, it's setting the variable of the bullet, right? This is the bullet right here. It's setting the object variable of the bullet to the bullet damage that we take from the graph from the plant. Easy stuff. So now let's go actually back to the zombie thingy, and with the whole deal damage thingy. It's easy. It's dealing damage to the object that's receiving damage. And in order for an object to receive damage, all you have to do is put on the health system. That's all. That's all the whole thing. The deal damage has been done in such a way that it's just sending an event of deal damage and receive damage. And this is the whole health system, right? It's a state machine. And this state machine has also been made so you could heal, which is why the whole thing is called deal damage and not heal, right? We could, like, this is the transition. The transition is damage. And if we go to the getting hurt, we see that we are doing the receive damage thingy. The only thing that I have to do is create an event over here called heal, and over here something like receive healing, and it will just work because we'll put the receive healing logic into this state, and it will just work like that. So, as I said over here, we are triggering the damage. We are going into this state where we are going to get hurt, and we are doing this. We are setting the variable health of self, of the firing plant, of the zombie, of the sunflower, right? We are setting the variable, the health variable. We are getting the current health, and we are subtracting the float that we just received. And what we are doing then is doing a branch where we check to see if our current health is less or equal than 0. If it's less or equal than 0, we die. If it's not, we go back to waiting. So the way it's like this, it's like a tick. The plant, let's put it like the plant. The plant is receiving damage of getting hurt. It got, let's say, 10 damage, and it's going to wait again to receive damage again. Since the zombie is still hitting the whole thing, this will trigger again and again and again and again, and the plant is getting hit again and again and again until at the point where the plant dies or the zombie dies and the plant doesn't receive damage anymore. It might be a little bit confusing, I know, because the way I'm kind of explaining things, I don't know, maybe I'm going to start over explaining stuff, but this is what is happening. If you die, you go to the dying state, where we do a null check to see if we still exist, just to be safe. We are triggering a break, and then we are destroying the object. And this is the break, the thing that I've told you about. Since the sunflower was spawning plants, since the firing plant was spawning bullets, and since the zombie was kind of looping into hitting, we are breaking that loop with this. And then we are going to destroy the object. And that's it. And if you are looking here, the plant is waiting to receive damage or to get healed. Then it's going to get hurt. We are going to withdraw because, as you can see here, we trigger the waiting event. And if you go here, we are triggering from this state where we receive damage, and we are going to go back on waiting. And it's just going like that. It's pretty beautiful. And let me actually show it again. Let's put the sunflower here, and then we go to the grass column, sunflower, and if we select the sunflower, let's go to the sunflower. If you go to the sunflower, you edit the state machine of the health system, and you can see, you see how this kind of animated. Right now we are back on the waiting. If you are also looking at the plant will, let's move frame by frame. You see, this triggered, the plant got hurt, the hurt, and the variable is going down. Is now 4 health, 2 health, and now it's going to go to dying. And check this out. Well, I mean, you won't be able to check it out because the whole thing is going to get destroyed anyway. But bam, easy as that. And it's weird how the whole thing didn't animate the suns. Anyway, So this is the whole health system, and it's something. After all the bugs, the small bugs that we created and so on, when I switch the whole thing to the bullet to deal the damage, and when I put the firing plan, this whole thing on the firing plan, and it was like, this is actually going to work without moving too many things. It's just like that, and it was like, nice. I managed to think of a system that's dealing damage, and all I have to do is put the health system, and then it's simple as that. The whatever I placed it on has a health system, right? If I want to create a new plant, besides having a flow for the whatever that plant is doing, but let's say the plant is just something that it's not doing anything, all I have to do is create on the plant a variable called health, put the health system on it, and then that plant will be able to receive damage and it will be able to die or heal. Easy as that. So we talked about the zombie. We're kind of done, to be honest. We talked about the zombie. He's able to attack, as you can see here. Something that you need to check out is this. Okay. This is something that how does the zombie know when to advance forward? And it's super easy. The whole thing is like retardedly easy. Because the zombie is hitting the plant, but then the plant disappears. How does the boy zombie know how to advance? It's easy. We do a null check. This is what this whole thing is doing. Every update, we do a null check to see if the thing that we are attacking, the plant, is still there. If it's not there anymore, it means that it died. We are triggering the walking, so the zombie is going back to the walking state, and that's it. That's it. It's a null check. So we talked about the health system, the damage system, the UI gain and lose animation. We talked at the beginning, the bullet, the bug problems, which were the one with the break, and the other bug was that the zombie was dying way too soon. It was a problem with the health system, and what I did was, the problem was something really retarded. I was doing something like this, and then I triggered on the editor preference. I believe what I did was, I remember checking this thing on whether values should show in the floor program. I wasn't having this on, so I didn't knew exactly the values that were being sent. And then when I enabled that, I was like, this was setting something like 40, but here it was 30. I was like, why this is 40 and why this is 30? So the problem was that we were setting the value, but we were checking the subtract and not the current value, right? So all I had to do was to move this here like this. I was like, Jesus Christ. No, a noobish mistake. Yes, I know. Then another small bug, it was the fact that we were destroying the firing plant or the sunflower, and since the suns or the bullets were parents of the firing plants, of course, when we were destroying the plant, the bullets themselves or the suns were being destroyed. So I simply deleted. I went back to the sunflower and I simply deleted the set parent over here. So right now I'm not really setting them as a parent, but I am setting the position for the sun to instantiate at self being the plant, the sunflower. Only a small change to the bullet, where it's kind of the same, but I'm taking self, I'm creating a new vector tree, and then I'm offsetting them a little bit, because if you remember, I want the bullet not to fire from the middle of the whole thing. I want the bullet to fire from a little bit ahead and a bit on top, so it seems that it's firing from the mouth of the plant. And now let's talk about the spawner. This is the spawner. It's just 6 empty game objects that I was sure to set them up, you know, like a color so I can see them, and I made sure to put them at 0.5 basically, as you can see, 0.5. So they are exactly how on the correct spot. So what we are doing here, we are going on the game manager, and every update we have a wait loop, and for debug reasons it's set up at 1 second. That's why it's popping up so many zombies. And when when this triggers, we do a range, a random range from 0 to we get the child count of the spawners. And I've done this like super fast. There is no reference, like getting the reference, storing the reference of the spawner. It was literally drag and dropping the spawner into this, and I was like, I'm done. And then we are getting the childs. We are getting the child of the spawner. And which child we get? The one that we just randomly picked. And then what we do, we instantiate the zombie. Where do we instantiate the zombie? Right, when we are using the set parent unit that we created, the parent is the spawner that we just got, and the child is the zombie that we just instantiated. So the position is 0, 0, 0 of this whole thing. So if we play, we are going to go back on the scene. As you can see, this is happening. This is random spawner 4, spawner 5, spawner 3, spawner 4. Just like that. Easy stuff. Easy stuff. And we are done. This is what we accomplished. Let me actually go and show you like a build. Not that it matters, but I decided to just, there is like a small bug with the build. If we are, this is my resolution. If we are going to play, you're not going to see down parts of the whole thing. Let me do it again. So I'm going to play windowed at this value so you can actually see everything. This is the menu that I have created. Whatever, the exit is the game, the play, it's loading the game already. I'm getting money. I'm putting, and now I kind of locked myself up. I'm not going to be able to load, you know, because I'm not gaining money without a firing plant. But hey, it works, and I can exit to menu, and it works. Oh, bug! We found a bug. The money haven't reset, and I also can't hit escape. Interesting. I'm not going to fix this bug, but interesting. I am a bit intrigued, to be honest. And now the problem was with when I was playing full screen at this resolution, the full HD resolution, right, the classic one. You are seeing a black bar because again I'm having a much higher monitor. I can click the sunflower. I can click. It got fixed. The freaking thing got fixed. What the hell? I was seeing the button click, but it was not selecting like the firing plant. Only on this resolution, which it seems that it got fixed. So yeah, anyway. I'm going to exit the menu. I'm going to play again. And now I have the money. I am not, well, I don't have all the money and I'm not able to click. You see, there is like a weird bug coming with the scenes. What could be the bug? I am a bit intrigued. So let's actually load the HUD. Well, the tutorial is over. You can, thanks for watching. You can you can close it down if you want. The pause menu logic. What's happening here is, where did I set up? I forgot where I set up the logic. This shouldn't exist. Plant buttons, no, the pause menu. The resume button. Where did I? Okay, over here I remember setting the buttons. So when I'm paused, Where the hell did I set up the buttons that trigger the... I so forgot. Flow UI clicked, I know that one. Those don't have any kind of logic. Did I... was it on the game manager? No, it was on the UI manager. No, it wasn't. I forgot where I placed the logic for the buttons. This is just... Okay, never mind. Here it is. It has a state and it also has a flow. So the weird thing is that I'm playing the game. I have 200. Unload. Save. Hopefully. We didn't break anything. I'm building some stuff and then I'm going to exit to menu. This is also something to take into consideration. And I'm going to play. Yep. I don't have my money. But if I'm exiting to menu and the game and the HUD, they are loaded. If I pause. Weird. I don't see any graphs here. Weird. Let's see if we start the game right from the beginning. Menu. We play. We build. We exit to menu. I know why this is happening. The plant is like still going. And we should do it like when we exit anything, we should do a break to everything. But can I send a message to all? That's a good question actually. Can I send a message to all the game objects or with the message break? In theory, this should totally be okay, because as you noticed, maybe it's exactly because of that. Let's start again, because the coroutine is still running and is messing with some stuff. I'm not going to build anything. I'm exiting now. Only menu it's on. So variable saver global, I don't see anything there. The menu is simply logic there. And I'm going to start again. I think it's related to that. If I go exit now, there is no... The escape is not working. And there is no graph on the... Okay, I will need to report this, and maybe it's from my fault, or maybe there is a bug, actually bug. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this. I hope this was really useful for you. Write in the comments below if you want to see more. So anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.